Welcome back to the deep dive. If you're listening, you might be dreaming of that perfect second home, maybe somewhere in Southeast Asia.
Hmm.
And you're probably wrestling with a classic choice. Do you go for total tropical relaxation or do you need that super slick efficiency of a major global city?
Yeah, it's that fundamental trade-off, isn't it? Sand between your toes versus like perfectly timed subways, serenity or speed.
We're talking Phuket, Thailand versus Singapore. Two amazing places, but wow, they offer completely different things.
Totally different lifestyles, different costs, everything really. They promise very different outcomes.
So our mission today is to get past the glossy brochures, cut through the hype, and also maybe demystify some of the legal stuff that can seem daunting.
Right.
We're aiming for a really direct comparison. Lifestyle, costs, the rules, and yeah, the big one, investment potential. And this isn't just guesswork.
No, definitely not. The foundation for this comparison is really solid. We're
Yeah.
drawing heavily on insights from Ocean Worldwide.
Okay, tell us about them.
They're a luxury real estate agency, and they've been based right there in Phuket since 2004. So decades of experience.
Wow, since 2004.
Yeah. And the director, Sandra O'Neill, she's personally helped literally thousands of families and property investors find their footing in that market over the years.
So when we talk about Phuket today, this info comes from people who are actually doing the deals, living it.
Exactly. It's grounded in decades of real-world practical experience.
Yeah.
That gives this whole comparison a lot of weight.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get into it then. First things first, the vibe check. What does daily life actually feel like once you're settled in?
Well, Phuket, it's just pure seaside calm. The source material really paints a picture of life moving in, like slow, easy waves.
Chill waves, I like that.
Yeah. They say the biggest urgency you'll face is probably just deciding which beach to hit that day.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Tough life.
Right. It's all about those sunset walks, the smell of the salt air, grabbing amazing fresh seafood from a stall, chilling in laid-back cafes.
And I love the detail about seeing the occasional water buffalo by the road. That says it all, doesn't it? It's a genuine escape.
It really is. It's a lifestyle focused on personal well-being, dialing down the stress, and even at the luxury end, think about those incredible beachfront penthouses near Bang Tao Beach. It's about ultimate comfort combined with that island peace.
Okay, so that's Phuket. Now, pivot to Singapore.
Singapore. It honestly couldn't be more different. It's like a perfectly oiled machine. Everything works, and it works fast. High-tech, super efficient, urban buzz.
Nonstop energy.
Totally. You've got incredibly fast public transport, these huge underground malls, constant cultural events happening. If you thrive on that kind of stimulus, that efficiency, networking, Singapore is magnetic.
So let's contrast a typical day, say a Tuesday.
Okay, Tuesday in Phuket might involve a leisurely stroll, maybe a swim. Things might take a bit longer logistically, but there's no real rush. You wait, you relax.
Right. Island time.
Exactly. Tuesday in Singapore,
Yeah.
it could be packed.
Yeah.
Efficient errands using the metro, maybe a business lunch, diverse food choices everywhere from cheap, amazing hawker stalls to Michelin star places. Social opportunities abound. It's just go, 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 but smooth.
And the transport difference is key here too, isn't it?
Oh, massively. Phuket means you're likely relying on a motorbike, maybe a tuk-tuk,
Well-
or your own car. You're navigating island roads, sometimes hitting traffic jams. It's part of the experience.
Yeah, you accept that.
Whereas Singapore has one of the world's best metro and bus systems,
Yeah.
precise, reliable, clean. So it really boils down to, do you embrace that beach rhythm, even with its minor logistical bumps, or do you demand that clockwork urban efficiency?
And that efficiency, that predictability, well, it comes at a price, which brings us squarely to the price check section. And this is where the gap between the two places becomes, well, less of a gap and more of a chasm. Singapore is famously tough on the wallet.
That's putting it mildly. It's consistently ranked among the most expensive cities globally. Phuket, by comparison, offers incredible value, like serious bang for your buck.
Let's put some numbers on that. Property prices.
Okay, let's take a standard example. A modern two-bedroom condo in a city area. In Phuket, you might be looking at around 5 million Thai baht,
Which is roughly.
roughly as 190,000 Singapore dollars, or maybe about 140,000 US dollars, give or take, with exchange rates.
Okay, 140K US for a two-bed condo. Now, that same kind of place, similar size, convenience in Singapore?
You're starting at S$1.3 million, minimum, and that's probably being optimistic.
Wow, S $1.3 million versus S $190,000. That's staggering.
It's a different universe financially, and if you scale up, say, to a three-bedroom villa, maybe near a beach, In Phuket, perhaps 12 million Thai baht, so around $450,000 US.
Still sounds pretty reasonable for a beach villa.
Compared to Singapore,
Yeah.
definitely. For anything comparable there, like landed property, you're easily looking at $2.5 million, probably much, much more.
Mm.
And, critically, getting government approval as a foreigner to even buy landed property in Singapore is extremely difficult.
Right, so condos are the main route for foreigners there.
Mostly, yes. But the price difference carries through to everyday life, too. It's not just the property purchase.
You mean utilities, groceries, help around the house?
Exactly. All those recurring costs. You see massive savings in Phuket month after month.
Let's get specific. Food and drink. That's universal.
Good benchmark.
Yeah.
Okay, a decent local meal in Phuket might cost you about $4 equivalent. In a Singapore hawker center, which is considered affordable there, you're looking at $7.
Almost double.
Yep. And how about a beer? Pint of draft beer in Phuket, maybe $4. In Singapore, easily $12.
Ouch. $12 for a beer.
That adds up fast if you enjoy going out.
Hmm.
Over a year, these daily differences become, well, potentially life-changing amounts of money saved in Phuket.
No kidding. And we have to talk about cars in Singapore. You mentioned the efficient public transport, but if you do want a car...
Ah, yes, the COE, the Certificate of Entitlement. This is something Ocean Worldwide clients always notice as a huge factor.
Explain that for listeners who haven't heard of it. Why is it so incredibly expensive?
It's basically Singapore's way of controlling traffic. There's a strict limit on the number of cars allowed on the road. So, to own a car, you first have to bid for a COE.
For it like an auction.
Exactly. And this COE is just a license to own a car for 10 years. It's transferable, but it expires. And the cost of this piece of paper, it often exceeds the actual price of the car itself.
You're kidding.
No. COEs can soar past $100,000, sometimes more. Then it expires after 10 years.
Good grief. So car ownership is a serious luxury.
A massive one. It keeps the roads clear and pushes people towards public transport, which is excellent. But yeah, forget affordable driving for most people.
Okay, so affordability. Phuket wins, hands down, no contest.
Pretty much.
But cheaper often means, well, maybe a bit more complicated in other ways. Let's shift to the practical stuff. The legal side, language, getting things done.
Right. This is where Singapore often scores points for its clarity and ease, especially if you're buying a condo.
How so?
Well, as a foreigner, buying a condominium in Singapore is relatively straightforward. The rules are clear, the process is transparent. Landed property is the tricky bit, as we said.
Okay, and Phuket.
In Thailand, the key thing to understand is that foreigners generally cannot own land outright. That's a fundamental rule.
To keep land in Thai hands, presumably.
Exactly. So while you can't buy condominium units, there's a limit. Only 49% of the total unit space in any single condo building can be foreign-owned.
Ah, the 49% rule. So if a popular building hits that cap...
You have to look elsewhere or wait. This rule is why leasehold arrangements are so common, especially for villas or houses that come with land.
Explain leasehold. How does that work?
Typically, you get a registered 30-year lease on the land, often with clauses allowing for renewals, usually another 30 years, sometimes even a third. It's a very established, secure way for foreigners to control property long-term. Decades of use prove it works.
So it's secure, just structured differently than outright freehold ownership.
Precisely. So the choice becomes transparent, easy condo ownership in Singapore, but at a huge premium, versus maybe a bit more legal structure via leasehold in Phuket, but for vastly better value property.
Makes sense. What about just talking to people, getting things done day-to-day, language?
Big difference here. Singapore is incredibly easy for English speakers. English is one of the official languages. Business, contracts, government services, signs, it's all in English. The barrier is very, very low.
That sounds comforting, especially when you're new.
It absolutely is. Phuket,
Yeah.
it presents more of a moderate barrier. In the main tourist areas, resorts, and agencies like Ocean Worldwide, English is common, no problem.
But outside of that bubble.
Yeah, dealing with local services, maybe government offices, reading some contracts or utility bills, you'll definitely encounter mostly Thai.
So what's the advice?
Be prepared. Learn some basic Thai phrases. It goes a long way. And for anything important, legally binding, rely on trusted local lawyers and translation services. It's just part of the deal, part of the island experience. A bit of friction, you could say.
And does that difference extend to the expat communities?
It does, yeah. Phuket tends to have smaller, maybe more close-knit expat groups. Socializing can be quite informal. You bump into people at the beach bar, yoga class, local markets. It's easier to see familiar faces regularly.
Kind of like a village feel even within the expat scene.
Sort of, yeah. Singapore's expat community is massive, incredibly diverse, and often more structured. You find big international clubs, formal business networking groups. People often cluster in specific districts like Holland Village or near Orchard Road. It's bigger, maybe more anonymous in some ways.
Okay, fascinating differences. Let's move into our final section now, looking at some other crucial infrastructure and the financial endgame. Health, travel, and that investment potential again. Healthcare first, always a big one for second home buyer.
Absolutely critical.
Yeah.
And again, a clear contrast. Singapore's healthcare is genuinely world-class. Hospitals like Gleneagles, Mount Elizabeth,
Yeah.
they have a global reputation for excellence, top standards, high reliability. But it costs. The quality is high, and so is the price tag. Very expensive.
In Phuket, how does it compare?
Phuket has very good private hospitals too, like Bangkok Hospital, Phuket. The standard of care in these private facilities is generally excellent. Treatment is quite straightforward to access, and it's significantly cheaper than Singapore.
So good quality, but more affordable.
Yes. But Phuket offers something else, a whole wellness dimension that's incredibly accessible. The sheer number and affordability of amazing spas, therapeutic massages, wellness retreats, it's part of the daily fabric there. That constant access to affordable wellness is a huge quality of life. Plus, that Singapore just can't match on price.
That's a really good point. Okay, travel, getting in and out, connecting to the world.
Singapore's Changi Airport, well, it's legendary.
Yeah.
Consistently ranked the best in the world, it's a premier global hub. If you need frequent, direct, non-stop flights to Europe, Australia, the U.S., maybe for business, Singapore wins, hands down. Incredibly convenient.
And Phuket International.
It's a good airport, and it's expanding. Excellent for regional travel, hopping over to Bangkok, Malaysia, or exploring other Thai islands like Koh Phi Phi or the Semilans is super easy.
Perfect for regional adventure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But for long-haul flights, say back to Europe or the States, you'll almost certainly need at least one stopover, usually via Bangkok or another hub like Singapore or Dubai. So again, it's a trade-off. Ultimate global convenience versus fantastic regional access right on your doorstep.
Right. Okay, let's talk investment potential again. We know the price points are vastly different. How does that translate into returns and risk? Let's get down to brass tacks.
Okay. When you look at it purely financially, Phuket generally offers a much higher average gross rental yield. Figures often cited are in the 6% to 8% range.
6 to 8%. That sounds really attractive compared to many places.
It is attractive, definitely. It's driven largely by tourism, short-term holiday rentals.
Yeah.
But, and this is a point Ocean Worldwide emphasizes, that comes with volatility.
Meaning
Your income can fluctuate quite a bit. It depends heavily on the tourist seasons, global travel trends, even unforeseen events like, pandemics or economic downturns affecting travel. You're investing primarily for cash flow, maybe some capital growth, but in a market that can swing.
Okay, so higher potential yield, but less predictable income stream.
That's a good way to put it. Now, Singapore. The rental yields are much lower,
Yeah.
typically around 3% to 4%.
So roughly half of Phuket's potential yield.
Yes. But the market is incredibly stable and heavily regulated. Property values tend to be very resilient.
So what's the investment play in Singapore then?
It's less about immediate high rental income and more about capital preservation and long-term capital appreciation. You're buying into stability, the rule of law, a global business hub attracting companies and talent, which keeps demand high. It's generally considered a safer, more predictable investment, but with lower cash flow.
Safer, lower yield, long-term growth. Got it. And there's one absolutely massive financial factor we have to highlight for foreign buyers.
Ah, yes. The additional buyer's stamp duty, or ABSD, in Singapore. This is crucial.
Explain this surcharge. It's designed to cool the market, right?
Exactly. It's aimed at managing property prices, especially for citizens. For foreign buyers purchasing residential property in Singapore, the current ABSD rate, well, it's hefty.
How hefty?
As of now, looking towards 2025, it's a 20% surcharge on top of the purchase price.
20% on top of already sky-high prices.
Correct. So you find your $1.3 million condo, then you immediately add another 20% for this tax. It dramatically changes the upfront cost.
Wow. Okay, so what's the comparable foreign buyer surcharge in Phuket, Thailand?
Zero.
Zero.
There's no specific foreign buyer surcharge like Singapore's ABSD. That difference alone fundamentally shifts the investment calculation for many people. If minimizing upfront costs and taxes is key, Phuket has a massive advantage right there.
Okay, so wrapping this all up after a deep dive, the choice becomes incredibly clear, doesn't it? It's almost like choosing between two different life
It
philosophies.
really is. You have to ask yourself, what's your absolute priority? Is it affordability, that relaxed beach lifestyle, and the potential for higher rental yields, even if they fluctuate a bit? If yes, then Phuket is calling your name.
Or is your priority rock solid predictability, almost no language barrier, that fast paced urban energy, unbeatable global travel connections, and stable long term capital growth, even if the entry costs and yields are tougher?
Then Singapore is likely your answer.
So, the final thought, maybe the provocative question for you, the listener, is this: which kind of stress are you more willing to accept?
Good question.
Is it the financial stress and the relentless pace of a super modern, super expensive global hub like Singapore? Or is it the occasional logistical friction, the language barrier, maybe slower bureaucracy, needing a bit more patience that comes with island paradise and Phuket, even with all its value and serenity?
It forces a real audit of what comfort truly means to you long term, what trade-offs fit your personality and your goals.
Absolutely. And if you're still on the fence after hearing all this and you want to explore those Phuket options more deeply, maybe look at specific luxury properties, get detailed guides, or tap into that decades of on-the-ground expertise we talked about,
Then the advice from our source is clear. Check out the resources available from specialists.
you should definitely visit the team that provided so much insight for today's discussion. Head over to oceanwwp.com. That's oceanwwtap.com.
They can help you navigate the specifics for Phuket. Ultimately, it's about finding the place where you won't just live, but where you'll truly thrive.